Newcastle are back in the big time, battling for another Champions League spot this season, but after a brutal 4-1 loss to Aston Villa, it's clear they're not quite the finished article yet. That's where we're going to come in. This is going to be a 10-year Football Manager 2024 rebuild, and the goal? Win everything. Premier League titles, Champions League glory, and also FA Cup, Carabao Cups. We're going for the entire lot. Oh, and here's a little fun fact. Newcastle were the first club in England to wear numbered shirts back in 1928. A little fun fact, whether you find it interesting is completely up to you. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get into the rebuild and hopefully over the next decade make this team not only the best in England but the best in Europe. So then, this is going to be Newcastle inside of FM24. I do want to quickly say, if you are enjoying these 10-year rebuilds, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, because they do take a long time to do, but I love doing a decade rebuild because you see so much change. I do also want some comments below of challenge rebuilds, which basically means you give me a team and a challenge, whether that to be to win something or a restriction. Comment below loads of suggestions. The one with the most likes will be coming up next week, so make sure you do get commenting below. But Newcastle in this game are a fantastic team. Already, they're a great team. Great reputation, great training, great youth recruitment. The owners love the club, and it is no secret there is tons of money floating around. As an actual club, they have got a serious bit of history, okay? 4 Premier League, 6 FA Cups, 1 Europa League, 4 Sky Bet Championships, 1 English Community Shield, 1 Anglo-Italian Cup, whatever that was, I don't even know. They have won a ton of trophies, and at the moment they are having a great season in the Premier League, but there is still room to do, and luckily we have got some serious money. Now, for me, I don't make signings in the first window. For you back home, if you are playing, you would have had a budget of around about £54 million. The debts and loans, there is a little bit of net debt and also transfer debt, which I imagine will be almost cleared over the next couple of seasons, because there's no secret to say that I think we're going to do quite well. Of course, in the first season, we are playing in the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, and they are predicting a finish for us of around about 4th place, which I think is quite fair, to be honest. It's quite realistic. I personally think that anything outside the top 4 would not be a great first season, so I'm not going to pretend that this is going to be a massive stay in the Premier League struggle. In terms of the tactics, we are going to use Eddie Howe's 4-3-3, and we are going to slightly change a couple of player roles just to get more performance out of a couple of players. Now, this entire rebuild is built off several men in the team, but the main man that I want to keep for the whole period is Alexander Isak. Genuinely, in my opinion, one of the best strikers in world football. I don't think you can really deny it. He is such a good player, a ridiculous player, and honestly, I think he's still 23, he can easily be here for 10 years, and he can even improve on what he has done. Now, this guy is going to be absolutely vital in winning Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, English Cups. He's got the pace, he's got the composure, he's got the finishing, he has got absolutely everything to make this happen, and he's not the only one in this team, okay? We've got the likes of Willock, we've got the likes of Joelinton. Joelinton's one of them players which a lot of people overlook because he's not necessarily like a massive name compared to Bruno, compared to Tonali, for example, but this guy's important, okay? He will be here for a minimum of 5 to 6 years, maybe even 7. I really like him. He's very versatile and just works hard for the team. 20 work rate, 18 stamina, sorry. The guy is an absolute workhorse, so he deserves a place in this team. You then look to the likes of Gordon, a really, really strong player who at the end of the day, again, I sometimes think is a little bit underrated. I do genuinely think he can be a big part of this team. Now, the danger to him is there are going to be situations where we are going to bring in new attacking players because we are going to have serious budgets. So he has really got to make a statement in the first few seasons to cement his guaranteed place in the team. What I will say is I don't really know why John Ruddy is at right back by the best 11. Let's get Livramento right there. That's an interesting one. Harvey Barnes as well, a great player. We cannot forget about Bruno, one of the, if not the best Newcastle player, a fan favourite, and you know what, for very good reason. A very, very leading midfield player. I mean, great passing, great technique, great work rate. I mean, they have got a dream midfield, really. They've got the likes of Joelinton, Bruno. I mean, if, for example, we just put the likes of Tonali in here, who was, of course, suspended, you have that midfield three like that, Tonali, again, a ridiculous player, 23 years of age. I'll never forget when they actually signed him for that price tag. I was surprised that he went to Newcastle, but what a move it actually ended up being. Obviously, a little bit of drama off the pitch got him in trouble, but now, you know, that is behind him. We can move on. The back line's not too bad either. I will say centre-backs, maybe. They have got decent centre-backs, don't get me wrong. Dan Burn, Shah, you've got the likes of Lascelles. You've also got the likes of Botman, who I cannot forget, a really strong centre-back, who again should be in the first team, so let's put him in there. And then left-back, you've got options. You've obviously got Lewis. You've also got the likes of none other than Lewis Hall, who I will be locking in for a couple of seasons to try and get him game time, as I will for none other than, where is he? Where has he gone? Lewis Miley. He also will be getting some locked-in treatment to hopefully progress him a little bit, but again, 2 seasons tops for locked-in players to really give them a chance to cement their place in the team. If they don't, they will compete with the players coming in. So that is a little rundown of the team, a basic 4-3-3 we're going to be using, deploying that high defensive line, really going after the teams, and yeah, over the next 10 years, there are going to be significant changes, but at the moment, we're looking at a team that I think is more than good enough for top 4 football. I do want to quickly say, if you are interested in getting all of my rebuild files, all of my tactics, and all of these perks, you can go and check out the Patreon. There is still currently just about 20% off all new sign-ups, and you can still enter this month's £900 giveaway, split between 9 winners, so you really can get involved. Let's go in to Season 1 with this incredible pre-built Newcastle team and see what we can do. Right then, so we're going to start off actually quite promising. We are going to finish off inside of the 4th place, joint points with Tottenham and 4 points behind Aston Villa, who do go on for a pretty remarkable season. So we've got Champions League football, which obviously is the main aim. You look at some of the players in the league. Anthony Gordon, the 2nd most assists. You've also got the likes of Isaac coming in with the 3rd most amount of goals. So a really strong performance. And in terms of league tables, the teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, even Forest, if you look at them in real life now, really did have bad seasons. So some would say maybe we're a little bit lucky to be here, but I mean, we are here, and that is all that matters. The teams that are going to be relegated, sadly, are Palace, Ipswich and Wolves. We are going to take a look at Palace and Wolves to see if there's any sort of talents that I might want to take from them teams. Ipswich, I don't really think there's anyone too much that I'll be after. We don't really need Delap or anyone like that. Hutchinson maybe, but then we've got such a good midfield, I don't even know if we'd go after somebody like him. In terms of actual player stats though, we're going to cover this right now, because if we filter by the best 11, of course, this is what the game thinks is the best 11. You can see 28 and 6 from Isaac, Gordon 6 and 16, quite a good return. Better from Murphy on the right-hand side, a player that we didn't discuss, Jacob Murphy, 29 years of age, getting a ton of game time. Jolinton 14 and 7, Tonali 7 and 10, Bruno 2 and 5, 9 assists from Livramento. Dan Burn actually played a lot of games at centre-back, but the game still puts him at left-back. The likes of Callum Wilson, a good backup option, 6 and 2. Willock 2 and 6. We have got Target not playing too much at all. Lewis Miley did play a fair few games, 5 and 3. As you can see, he played 34 games in the Premier League and gained 6 goal contributions. So I really am trying to do my best. In terms of Hull, he picked up 1 and 2, and he played 15 games in the Premier League, so not tons and tons, but he played enough to try and get some experience and build up his sort of confidence going in to the upcoming season. So they are really the players that you put your money on performing have really performed. In terms of the rest of the competitions, a round of 16 exit against Real Madrid, 3-2, isn't ideal, but also at the end of the day, it's our first real time in the Champions League this video, so we'll be reasonable. And in terms of the league path, I don't even think we can actually go and have a little look at the group stages. Of course, it is the groups now. We're not actually in the actual sort of, you know, point sort of tally. We do finish 2nd just behind Bayern, so that's quite cool to see. At least we can get out of a group like that. In terms of the FA Cup, very good. A semi-final appearance, nearly a final appearance, where we would have played Aston Villa. And the 4th round of the Carabao Cup, we do lose to Leeds, which is quite fair to say the worst result out of all of the competitions. That is quite a clear favourite. Going into the next season, we have got a budget of a staggering £207 million. And actually looking at where we can spend that money, we go to the homepage, it will actually be going, should be, on the back line. But you know what I'm like when it comes to signing attackers? I do get carried away. So we're going to see who's available on the market. But at the moment, the realistic option would to be not to sign anyone too expensive in the midfield, because our midfield is a bit like a Rolls Royce. We've got great midfielders. We definitely don't need another striker because Isaac and Wilson are completely fine. It would make sense to sign someone across the back line, maybe another winger, potentially. That is what is going to be happening today. And of course, the aim of this rebuild, guys, okay, we are going to win trophies. We are Newcastle. We could win the Premier League next season, but it is all about how many trophies we can win in 10 years. This is a different vibe to rebuilding a Salford when, you know, you've got to work your way up from where they are to the Premier League. We are in the Premier League and we are competitive, but it's all about how many can we win in 10 years and how big does the team change? Well, Season 2 is going to start to tell the story. Right then, so signing number 1, or the first signing going out actually, is going to be Lloyd Kelly. Of course, he is a player that was brought in from Bournemouth, and he is already going to be getting a loan move to Juventus, and they buy him for 14.5 million. Now, there's nothing disrespectful I'm going to say about Lloyd Kelly, because he is a decent player, but for me, he's not really the player that I think is going to work when I want to manage, and I just think that there's better options on the market, so I'm going to cash in when I can, and I think that offer was more than fair enough. Also going to offload Kieran Trippier. He was a player who I wanted to get gone from the second we really started. He's had a very, very good time at Newcastle, and I know the Newcastle fans really like him, but he is getting older, and at the end of the day, when you've got a chance to actually profit on a player who was brought in at what, maybe 32, he is now 34, his pace is going down and down and down. He's going to go to PSG and not really do too much. He actually joined part of last season, but that is why Trippier was not in the team. Now Lewis, again, is going to be another player that we are going to offload. He actually goes to a couple of teams here. He went on loan, as you can see, to Bournemouth, but now Brentford, so he's gone back to Brentford. A bit of a mixture there, a very, very quick in and out process for him. We're going to recover 2.9 million. It's quite a fair loss from what we paid from Norwich, but at the end of the day, once again, nothing against him. He's just not really good enough for my future plan. John Ruddy actually goes for, I believe he went to West Brom for a bit, 190k, where he enjoyed one season, but now he's actually a goalkeeping coach, so we got rid of him just in time. Signing 1 is going to be a ridiculous centre-back signing. It's going to be Danny Vivian, coming in from Bilbao for a total of 77 million, a rock-solid centre-back, 38 appearances, drops a 7 average rating, and this guy is just complete. He is such a good centre-back to have. He's 25, so it's that mixture of still being young enough for another 6 or 7 years, and obviously can really teach a thing or two to the other rest of the back line. If we get a more sort of younger centre-back in alongside of him, potentially in the next couple of years, he can teach him everything he knows, and I'm not being funny, it's also the first time we have signed a player like him, so a very, very different signing who looks really, really strong in terms of pace, in terms of just everything you would want for a centre-back. The tackling, the marking, his passing's also incredible, which is very handy in this system. It made complete sense, and we have gone bold with the next signing. The man on the thumbnail for 101 million, it is going to be Elise, coming in from FC Bayern. He had a decent, not really a decent season in terms of return, but for us, magical season. 14 goals, 13 assists, drops a 7.44. The guy's rapid, can put a ball in, great with the ball at his feet. He can also finish, great composure, great decisions, great flair, great everything. He can play on the right. He can play through the middle. Yes, it is a big price tag, but there's several factors. He's 23. He's young. He's English. Great for registration. He's versatile. And he's already an elite winger at the age of 23. You're going to pay big bucks, not only to get him here, but to actually have him at the club on 300 grand a week. So it's going to be £165 million spent over 2 players, with some players going out, around about 31 million being generated from player sales, a few players here going out on loan as well, but the real big ones to talk about were obviously Trippier, Lewis alongside of Ruddy, and of course Lloyd Kelly. But let's turn our attention to how well maybe these two boys have done. I'm excited. We're going to find ourselves right in an FA Cup final, so a big improvement in that competition, with Gordon flicking it back into Miley down the left-hand side, a ball inside. Isaac is going to lash it into the left-hand corner, and that is going to be a 1-0 lead inside of 3 minutes. And this game was really, really quiet until we get our second goal, and it is going to be the goal to actually win this game. Elise down the right, touch inside. That is why you sign him. We are also going to go on to win the Carabao Cup 3-2 over Aston Villa, and I tell you what, we are looking incredibly strong. Isaac, your top goal scorer, Elise the most assists. our team is cooking. The Champions League, we are going to make it into the round of 16 and just get past PSG 5-4. Into the quarters, we are going to play RB Leipzig, which, no disrespect to them because I love the club, is a bit of an easier fixture. We are going to win 4-1 to get through to the semis where we get Tottenham, which again is a bit of an easier game, but we face up against Real Madrid. But as Arsenal did show recently, they are beatable. We get off to such a good start in this Champions League final. I mean, Bellingham making a mistake that he very rarely would make. Elise goes through, and I tell you what, to score in the Champions League final on your sort of debut season is such a statement. And we go again. We're going to be leading this game 2-0 before the 40th minute. Real Madrid are not at the races at all. A great ball from Miley, a great finish from Isaac as Elise plays it back inside. A good bit of press there from Real Madrid, to be fair. Bellingham finds it, a ball through into Mbappe, and they are going to be right back into the game. That is the thing. When you play Real Madrid, one little mistake on the ball and they will go and score. It happened to Saliba, it will happen in this game as well. Luckily for us, we've got Elise, who finds Livramento, a great bit of play down the right in the middle, and we're going to retake the game's lead 3-1. Now, there is one last goal in this final, which means we are going to win the Champions League, despite them finding another really good goal here, to be honest. A great bit of play. We're going to be Champions League winners in Season 2. And we have won the Premier League, so we have done the quadruple in Season 2. Now, don't worry, because the video does not end here, because today's video, as I explained a little bit before, we are going to win trophies today. It's not a bad thing to win trophies. You can't always have the perfect 10-season, oh, we win at the end storyline. This is about how many trophies we can win with this team and how big this team is going to change. Now, it's a remarkable season, okay? We lose 6 games, we win 30, we draw 2, Isaac top of the goal scoring ranks, and I tell you what, we have got not 1, not 2, but 3 players in the assists. Tonali, Elise and Lewis Hall. Super happy for Lewis Hall right now, who was locked in for this season, but really coming on leaps and bounds. Nick Pope enjoys a great season as well, tied with Alisson, and that is a really strong, perfect season. Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Now, obviously, we can go one up on this because there are going to be seasons where we've got the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, Community Shield, the UEFA Super Cup. So we are going to keep pushing to try and complete the perfect, well, it will be 6 trophy season. But Season 2 is absolutely incredible, and we are now going to have a big budget of £242 million to spend. The debts and loans have really taken care of themselves. They would, we've won 4 trophies, and Lewis Hall 14 and 17. A remarkable season that still doesn't get him in the first team, apparently. Livramento enjoys a great season as well. 2 and 9 from Bruno. We've got Tonali, 28 goal contributions. Ridiculous. Joelinton, 12 and 5. I don't think he's a long-term Mazzala option in this team, but is where the game puts him. 24 and 25 from Elise. This man has come in and simply delivered on the highest level. 16 and 14 from Gordon. Very good. And 51 and 7 from Isaac, who, let's just face it, is probably one of the best strikers in the world. We've got to say it. You've also got the likes of 14 and 17, as I said, from Hall, who will go into the left-back role. Wilson with 3 goals, 4 and 1 from Dan Burn. Lewis Miley, very good to see, 16 and 16, so let's give him some respect. We'll put him in there so you can see it on the screen right there. Joelinton, 12 and 5, as we mentioned. Even Murphy, 1 and 5. Barnes not really performing that well, and I'll be honest with you, the first season he got a load of game time and didn't even do that much, so I'm going to give him a couple more seasons, but if not, he's going to be gone because we can bring in younger, better players. But as teams actually go, things are gelling really well, and the addition of, well, if you look at the addition of Vivian here, I mean, I'm not being funny, 7.36, Elise 8.10. These are 2 new signings that have come in, and they're playing here like they've just, you know, they've been here for 10 years. They click with the team instantly, and we walk away Season 2 quadruple winners. Yeah. This is going to be an exciting rebuild. Right then, the next player to leave us is going to be Jamal Lascelles. He is going to be going to Everton for a total of 2.6 million. Again, a player that has been at this club for such a long time. But again, very similar to the past few players we've talked about. He's not quite there where I want him to be in terms of a player that I think is going to be a big part of this team. We've just won a quadruple. We've got to strengthen. For me, he doesn't cut the mustard anymore. Someone who does is going to be Scalvini. Now, I have strengthened this back backline tenfold in this transfer window, as we now have potentially one of the best centre-back lineups in world football. I will also say Dan Burn has gone out on loan, so that is something that also did influence this move, and he slots in 4 goals above a 7 average rating, 50 million, which I think is pretty fair. If you do sign him in the first few windows, you can get him for under 70-80 million, and I thought, do you know what? Yes, it's quite a generic signing, and a lot of people make it. But he gets on with Tonali, 2 Italians, it makes sense. And next to him is going to be former PSG man William Pacho, coming in for 50 million as well. 34 appearances, 1 goal, drops a 7 average rating, and you have now got him and Scalvini alongside Botman, Shah, obviously Burn can come back as well, and obviously Vivian, let's not forget about him. We have got some really, really strong centre-back options, and looking at them on paper, with the names I've just said, this is a centre-back lineup that can go back-to-back winning trebles, quadruples. They're also all quite young. They're not too old, you know. Don't get me wrong, Vivian's going to be, what, maybe 26? 24, 22 from Scalvini, I think maybe 23. They're not at the old bracket of 27, 28. So I'm not being funny. We have got a lineup here that I think is going to last us for a good 5-6 years. And then hopefully we're going to have new regens coming in that can take their place. Also strengthened up the goalkeeper role, because Nick Pope is a great goalkeeper, but at the same time there are better ones out there, and when Costa is available for 37 million, we are going to pick him up. 38 appearances, 17 clean sheets, and we are now talking about a goalkeeper that is a leading Premier Division goalkeeper, 26 years of age, and he can be with us now all the way through for the rest of the rebuild. Our backline has just been strengthened tenfold. Scalvini, Pacho, Costa. It is absolutely nuts. And we finish it off by also signing Danilo as a backup midfield player from Nottingham Forest for £46.5 million. 37 games, so he was more than a backup player. I wonder if that pushed Tonali maybe in the Mazzala, then Danilo went into DM, Bruno went into box-to-box, maybe Joelinton got pushed out the team, but a very, very strong season regardless of that, and an expensive window, 180 million, but that was still way under our budget, way under our transfer budget, and we have brought in 4 very impactful players. Dare we dream of doing a back-to-back quadruple? Well, it is going to be our first time playing in this Community Shield, and I tell you what, I would like to win this one. Just to say that we have won it, a great ball through to Elise, a good give and go, a ball inside, and Isaac is going to put us 1-0 up against Liverpool inside of 50 minutes. We are then going to go again literally about 2 minutes after. Hall finds Livramento, a great finish. Oh, I say that. Alisson has to be doing better there. It's a good sort of powerful shot, but Alisson has to be doing better. Gordon is then going to find Bruno, and that is a really good goal. Nothing the keeper can do there. A really, really, really strong set piece. Liverpool do get a goal back here inside of the 85th minute. A decent set piece from Jota. Past Costa. Again, not going to blame anyone. It was a really strong header and a good set piece. But Liverpool fans might want to look away, because you're not only going to lose 3-1 in the final, you're going to go and actually lose 4-1. We're winners of that as well. The Super Cup we are also going to win, but it's a very boring game, so I won't waste your time by showing you the highlights. We're going to win on penalties, meaning both of the pre-season trophies we have won. I was joking about winning 6 trophies, but I mean, this could be on. We are going to win the Premier League in back-to-back seasons. Now, this season was ridiculously close. Joint points with Man City, but also Liverpool and Arsenal on 80 points. That is 4 teams all within 2 points of each other. West Ham, Forest and Luton go down. Forest probably didn't get helped by me poaching Danilo, so sorry about that. Costa comes in the most clean sheets. Elise and Tonali joint first with Mo Salah with 15 assists. Elise most player of the matches. Isaac the 3rd top goal scorer. We are putting on an absolute clinic, and I tell you what, I have never seen a top 4 battle this tight. Back to Wembley for another FA Cup final, and I'll be honest with you, it did not go off to a great start. Leeds go down the left-hand side and put a great ball in, and it is going to be a fantastic finish from Fabio inside of 19 minutes. But luckily for us, and this is where a game could have gone pretty sour, but we go down the other end about 90 seconds after. We're going to get it into Danilo, plays it back into Gordon, and that is going to be a great finish into the left-hand corner, and we are going to lead or draw 1-1. This is where we lead, sorry. Lewis Hall puts a great ball in, and it is going to be a great finish here. Tonali picks it up, goes inside, and that would have been going in, I think. Genuinely, I think it would have been going in. It gets deflected. Isaac gets the rebound, and we are going to take the advantage finally. Botman into Danilo, into Joelinton down the left-hand side. Plenty of space here to drive into. A ball across, and Isaac is going to finish it off. And I tell you what, a 3-1 lead here after going 1-0 down is a big, big statement, because Leeds could have actually held us off, but they allowed us back into the game so early on. And after that equaliser went in, we started doing things like this. A 4-1 win, meaning we have won the Premier League, the Community Shield, the Super Cup and the FA Cup. Another quadruple, not the quadruple, but a form of a quadruple. We do get knocked out in the third round of the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, and the Champions League, as you can see, a quarter-final exit against Real Madrid 2-1. But I mean, I'm not being funny. We won the Champions League last year, so I'm not going to be too annoyed about that. And also the Carabao Cup, I'm not going to be that annoyed about, because Liverpool were a very, very good team in England, and we've won the Premier League back-to-back. We've won the FA Cup back-to-back, the Super Cup and the Community Shield we have won in our first asking. I can't really be too annoyed with that. In terms of the actual money, we have got now a budget of, wow, £276 million. The debts and loans are practically clear now compared to the start of the video, and the players, once again, Lewis Hall getting another locked-in season, not doing as well, actually dropping ability, so this is now going to be his last year of guaranteed football, because I'm not going to lock him in for the entire rebuild. This is now his sort of, you've now got to compete with who's in front of you. If you can stay in the team. But this is going to be our best 11 on paper. Costa, Livramento, Pacho, Scalvini, Botman at left back, Bruno, Tonali, Danilo, Elise, Gordon, Isaac. So I was right about Joelinton. He does get benched, as actually is going to be Danilo going in the Mazzala role. Isaac returns 49 goal contributions. Gordon, a bit of a quieter season with 22, but still really good and actually unhappy. He wants a new deal, so we are going to make that happen. Elise doing Elise things. I mean, the guy, player of the season once again. No shock there. 8 and 6 from Tonali, 12 and 21 from, that was Danilo, 12 and 21 from Tonali, sorry. Bruno, 1 and 11. Livramento, 2 and 9. Botman at left back, I don't really like. I would actually really like to keep Hall there, despite not having, he still had a good season actually. I'm not going to be harsh on the lad. 8 and 14 is really strong for a left back who is, let's just be honest with, I mean, he's 21. He's still got so much room to grow. That's a really strong season, so I don't know why the game doesn't put him there, to be honest. Other than that, the bench is reasonably quiet. Miley 6 and 5, Wilson 3 and 5, Vivian, how many games is he actually playing now? He played, okay, he's still playing a fair few games, so it's nice to see that this sort of lineup of Pacho, Scalvini, Vivian, Shah, Botman, it does mean we can now probably sell Dan Burn and Kraft as well, because then we can probably sell, yeah, we can sell Dan Burn, Kraft and Shah, and we've still got Pacho, Scalvini, Vivian and also Botman. That is a ridiculous centre-back lineup. 4 very, very good centre-backs that can walk their way into almost any team. So a very, very strong team. And now we look at where to spend this money, and some might say, Josh, just bring in a world-class left-back, you know, bring in someone like Alphonso Davies, and maybe that is the answer, but we'll see what happens, because we have got a ton of money to spend, but also I don't want to bring in 9 new players and completely change the whole 11, because we are winning trophies. I mean, the club is on a real good run at the moment. You can see here just the amount of new trophies coming in. We want to keep that going, so let's get into the next season after a still strong season, and I'm going to say it, try and reclaim the Champions League. Right then, going out on the free is going to be Fabian Schär. No one actually wanted to pay any money for him, so I do let him go on the free. He gets a move to Saudi, where, to be fair, he does play 34 games to him, and he has been a very, very loyal player to Newcastle ever since the move from Spain. I'm not being funny. He has been reasonably consistent. I mean, this is the drop-off though, isn't it? 36 game play for us here in the 2023-24 season. When it comes to this season right now, obviously he was never really going to get into the team because we've got so many better options. So it's not that he's a bad player, it's just now there's better players around because he's getting older. Signing one is going to be a ridiculous right back in Vanderson, and he is going to come in for a total of 75 million. The guy drops a masterclass in his first season in England, 1 goal, 5 assists, drops a 7.02 average rating. And I tell you what, as right backs go, you are not going to find a much better option. And considering we paid 75 million, his value is over double that now. He's got 16 acceleration, 16 pace, great stamina, Basuma, great work rate, which is really good because that right back does go up and down the pitch all the time. Good tackling, good crossing. He's a right back dream. You're also going to bite the bullet and sign a backup striker because Wilson is getting older right now. And this guy, although it's harsh to call him a backup because he is so good, is going to be our backup striker. He comes in, he actually plays 21 games. Now this will be coming off the bench, etc, etc. And he scores 2 goals. So not a great return, to be honest with you, but we've got to be fair to this guy. He could have been, you know, coming on in the 80th minute, 75th minute, where it's not always guaranteed to go and grab a goal. So as long as he can stay along these sort of same levels in terms of attributes, he will always have a place in this team. And lastly, we're going to go crazy. Can you guess who we signed? Pick up Yeremy Pino. Now this is going to be some really good competition for Anthony Gordon, and apparently he has warped the competition. £102 million is what he cost. And to be fair, for that return, I don't hate it at all. A very strong season. And this guy will get a lot of game time because if he doesn't fit in on the left, he can play on the right. If Elise's fit and he's playing well, he can go on to the left. So, and he can play up front. This guy will find a way into the team. And at 24, I thought, you know what? It's a lot of money to spend, but we're Newcastle. We've got the money. We need to invest anyway. And players like this, he's still only 24, guys. He will be with us easily until the end of the video. And I think players like him, they can win trophies. He's got the attributes, so he's got the players around him. Hopefully, we can go back to winning the Champions League. That's the aim. Well, this is not what I was expecting because for the first season, not for the first season, but for the first season since we started winning, we have not actually won the Premier League. Man City get the one up. Man City are not a weak team. They've got Ancelotti in charge, which is a very unique manager to have there, and they've got a ridiculous team. They've strengthened. They've obviously brought in Florian Wirtz. They've brought in Theo Hernandez. They've brought in some really, and Kunku as well. Basuma. They've brought in some really, really good players, okay? But so have we, so there's no excuse, is not what I'm trying to say, but they simply have outclassed us in this season, and I'm not going to waste your time today, guys, because this season was really, really grim. Let's just go and have a look right now, because, by the way, Elise, shout out to you, because you've done a great job this season, as did Isaac, as did Costa, but it simply wasn't enough, and the rest of everything, we won nothing this entire season. The Community Shield, we are going to lose 2-0 against Man City. They've clearly got our number. Semi-final exit against Man City, 4-3. Man City really know how to beat us, and Ancelotti is the issue right there. This is unacceptable. A 5th round exit in the FA Cup against Charlton Athletic, who, I mean, they are currently in Sky Bet League 1, so that is not acceptable at all. That is awful. This isn't horrific because it's Real Madrid, and at the end, who have Real Madrid got now with no Ancelotti? Eric Ten Hag. That is an interesting appointment right there, a very interesting one. Don't know how I feel about that right now, but I mean, it's not a great season. We have won no trophies, and we spent quite a fair bit of money, but we might now be going through this sort of adaptation phase where we are losing some, you know, long-term players, we're getting new players coming in, but that front three is absolutely ridiculous. The midfield is really, really strong. The back line is absolutely world-class, and we've got an incredible goalkeeper, but it goes to show, just because you spend money, it doesn't necessarily mean trophies every single time. And it's not as if our players really had off seasons. Elise, 25 and 28. Pino, 19 and 20. Isaac, 54 and 6. Midfielders doing really well as well. You know, we are having a very good season in terms of individual player stats, but in terms of the competitions, we just couldn't get it clicking. And it's as simple as that. And I imagine that would have affected the budget quite a fair bit. It hasn't. We've actually got, make it make sense, we've actually got our highest budget and we have won no trophies. So we've got over 300 million to spend. The debts and loans are practically clear. And this can now be looked at one or two ways. This is the first season where we have actually failed to win anything apart from the first season. Do I need to go and spend all the money to try and get us back up there and, you know, plan for the future? The answer might be no. I look at the team right now and there's one position in my head that is really, really needing filling with a real experienced, correct player. Danilo is a good player, okay? 14 and 17 is great for the Mazzala role. but he is not a born Mazzala in my opinion. We are missing that real sort of attack and talent, whether it be a Foden, a Wirtz, you know, a Musiala, someone like that who can play in the Mazzala role. And I think that is where we've got to spend a big amount of money, because you then have got, say we're not going to get Wirtz because he's taken, he's just signed for a new team. Say you had Florian Wirtz, you've then got Tonali beside him in a box-to-box. Perfect. You've got Bruno. Off the bench then, you would have Danilo, you would have Joelinton, you've also got the likes of young man Lewis Miley. You've got some really good players to bring on, and I think that role is vital, we feel. And the other one would be left back, because there's probably good options at left back on the market. I think we need to go and have a look. Right then, so the first player to leave us this window is going to be Nick Pope. Again, a player that has been at Newcastle now for a very long time, and all of his career has stayed in England until now. He is going to get a free move to the Saudi League. A player again that has spent all of his time in England is going to be Matty Targett. He is going to be going on the free to the Saudi League again, where he actually enjoys a great season. A great player at the end of his career. £80 million, we are going to welcome in Wesley Fofana. Now, we are losing centre-backs for fun at the moment in the older players, and we are going to bring this guy in for 80 million. A big price tag, but he has returned a really strong season. And again, you're signing from a team that obviously have been quite reasonable in the Premier League. He's learnt a lot from his time at Chelsea, and of course was really good at Leicester. Now this guy, I will say, might be one of our more complete centre-backs, because he's got 16 tackling, 16 acceleration, great pace, great stamina, great strength, great passing, great marking, great heading. He might be one of our better ones, so I'm not being funny. Although he's 27 years of age, and some people might be like, Josh, that's not really a future signing. It's not, but it's one for the present to try and hopefully get us back on track. We've also welcomed in Diomande. Now, Fabian Schär has actually gone as well, just to clarify that. So we are going to bring in Diomande as well for a total of £57 million, who does only play 18 games. And despite him being one of the most favoured wonder kids in FM24, on this save file, he is going to be a backup option. So it was made very clear to him when we signed the contract, he is going to be a backup. But honestly, a very good backup who, to be fair, has still played 18 games. And when you think of Mazzala's midfield players, Rolls Royces in midfield, you turn to Jude Bellingham, and I cannot believe we got this done. He cost me 166 million, but he has returned 20 goal contributions and also dropped a 7.22. So Mr. Vamos himself has come in, and I tell you what, it's a big window, nearly £300 million spent, but look at the names we have brought in. What this does mean is, if we don't win the Premier League, and I will say the Champions League, we're going to look rather silly. Well then, if there's a way to look silly, it might be now, because we have lost to Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, who must have a very good team. They've got Ange in charge, and they have got Bonnie, Johnson, Tell, Maddison. I would say our team's quite comfortably better, so fair play to Ange. He's got the job done. But I mean, it was very close. There was 1 point. It was a two-team race. 1 point between them, and I guarantee we lost against them, didn't we? We lost 6-0 and 1-0 against them. So I mean, if we would have even got a point there, potentially we could have won it anyway. We would have done on the goal difference. Isaac is going to be your top goal scorer. Costa, your most clean sheets. Elise, the best average rating. You've also got Elise and Tonali, your top assisters. So individually, we're incredible. But once again, when it comes to really merging and putting in a shift against a big team, in Tottenham Hotspur at the top, we simply couldn't get the job done. So that is why we lost the Premier League. Now I want to see us win at least 2 out of these other 3 trophies, because if we walk away without a trophy in this season, there's something seriously wrong. Luckily, we are in a Champions League final, and we are against Atletico Madrid, a team that are very good, but I do think we can go and beat. And we get off to a great start here with Pino, and past an injured Oblak, who, let's just face it, could have done better there, but he is injured, so we are going to be nice to him. Botman is then going to find Bruno right in the midfield, tons of space as well, a ball into Bellingham, and that is why you spend the big money. A great finish from Isaac to go 2-0 up inside of 45 minutes, and this Atletico Madrid team looked defeated. 64 minutes on the clock. Botman playing that left back role is actually going to do quite well. A great ball in and a free header for Elise, and we are going to lead this Champions League final 3-0. until this point, McKennie is going to find Llorente. McKennie's actually making a great run there, and he is going to be found, and he might actually sort this away. He does, but it's all they could do. We're going to win 3-1. We also are going to lift the FA Cup 2-0 over Chelsea, so this is more like it. Some trophies coming back. And then back to Wembley for the Carabao Cup final against Tottenham, a chance for a bit of revenge to take something from them, and Fofana is going to make that more than likely to happen. A great header there as Bellingham is going to drive on in the 76th minute, a very quiet game after the first goal, but Gordon eventually finds his way through, and when you get the ball in the box and you've got Isaac waiting, you are going to score goals. It's as simple as that. A great goal from him. Bruno then finds Danilo into Tonali, a great ball over the top, a little touch there from Gordon, great touch inside Danilo. That is more like it. We take that as well. And that is going to finalise a still very strong season. It's a shame we couldn't win the Premier League, because it would have been another quadruple. But considering the last season, we clearly have made big improvements and they are paying off. So we are going to take those trophies quite happily, and we are going to look at the team right now, because Bellingham is going to play a big role in this, okay? 21 goals, 18 assists. Elise 60 goal contributions. Pino 12 and 18, Isaac 52 and 7, 9 and 21 from Tonali. I mean, the players in this team are doing so well. You have got the likes of Danilo, 4 and 6. You've got the likes of Samu, 13 and 5. A player that we're not going to forget. He is going to eventually want more and more football, and maybe as Isaac gets older, he can get more and more football. I mean, he played 17 games here, and I imagine some of those games are going to be starts, and he actually is improved in terms of what he's given us back by playing less games, so he has become more comfortable at the club. 1 goal from Vivian at centre-back, 3 and 2 from Miley, and I'm not being funny, we now look at this team, right, and we're going to do a rotation test. We're going to look at where we need to spend the money, which is going to be a budget of 100, more than that, 274 million. So, goalkeepers, we have got Costa, and I don't think we need really another goalkeeper, although his contract is going to be up, and I'm not giving him a new contract, so we do need a backup goalkeeper. That is something for the shopping list. Right back, we've got Vanderson and Livramento, not needed. Centre backs, we know what we've got. We've got Pacho, Fofana, Diamande, Scalvini, Vivian. We do not need another. Left back, we've got Botman, and we've got Lewis Hall, who also can play centre back as well. So unless there's like a world-class left back, we are not going to look to bring anybody in. Midfield, we've got Bruno, Tonali, Bellingham. Then we've got Danilo, Longstaff, Miley. Joelinton as well. Let's not forget about Joelinton, and also Willock. There is a world where we sell the likes of potentially now Joelinton, Willock, Longstaff, and bring in better options. Wingers, you've got Pino, Elise, Gordon, Barnes. Again, a world where we sell Barnes, maybe a Sala, and bring in someone a little bit better. And also we can sell Murphy. And striker, we're completely golden. So we know where to spend the money. Let's go and make that happen. We are going to cash in on Lewis Hall purely because I love the guy in real life. I think he's a great player in real life, but we locked him in for these first couple of seasons and he done great. But I can't have the guy locked in for the entire video, you know what I mean? And he didn't really compete at all when actually he was, you know, having that competition. So I thought for £13 million, let's just put it towards getting someone, I don't want to say the words, but I guess better. And that is where Nuno Mendes comes in for a total of 79 million. This is more like it. 36 appearances, 2 goals, 5 assists, returns a 7.32 average rating. He is rapid, he can cross, he's got good passing, tackling's good work rate, good stamina. He is the perfect fullback for this team. And yes, it is a shame to see Lewis go, but this guy is, well, he is literally what it says here. He's world class. A backup goalkeeper and one hopefully for the future is going to be Jack Jones, coming in from Coventry for £6 million. Very limited information on the guy, and I'll be honest, purely a scout and recommendation. So this one is on the recruitment team. We have also got our backup winger / first team winger. It is going to be Ansu Fati. Now, why Ansu Fati, Josh? Well, it's a good question. I wanted to go after someone who can play on the left and on the right, and ideally also up front if needed. And this guy was alongside of João Pedro, who can do that as well. He is actually developed a little bit better. So we do pick him up for 81 million. He returns 6 goal contributions, which isn't ridiculous, but we're going to to bear a few things in mind. Number one, he's going to be a rotation player. I don't think he gets into the team filtered by the best 11. Number two, he's going to be subbed on potentially in 3 different areas, so he's never really going to be comfortable in one area, so this guy might not ever hit ridiculous ceiling in terms of 20 goals a season. But for a backup player, he is a ridiculous option, and I tell you what, we've spent 161 million. You can see some more players here. Obviously, you know, you've got some loanees going out as well. We have signed some ridiculous players, and I mean, we've strengthened all over the place. Lewis Hall's the only outgoing to show you that. I think there's a world where we need to be winning the Premier League now. And we are going to be on top. We are going to be seriously on top now. 91 points compared to 77 in second place. We have got 4 players in the average rating belonging to Newcastle. Costa the most clean sheets. Isaac 1 goal behind Calvert-Lewin. Fair play to Calvert-Lewin, top goal scorer. Elise, Pino and Bellingham dominate the assists alongside a Reece James. That is a very, very strong season. We are also going to go over and win the Champions League 4-1 over FC Bayern, meaning that is now 3 times we have lifted that wonderful trophy. UEFA Super Cup winners 1-0, not the biggest trophy, but a trophy is going to be a trophy. The same can be said for this one against Tottenham Hotspur, who did have a bit of a drop-off in the league actually, as you can see, down into 3rd place. Apart from that, we are going to go out in the 5th round of the FA Cup against Brighton, 4-3 in extra time, a little bit annoying. And the Carabao Cup, Man City, who were 2nd in the league, do knock us out actually on penalties. So very close right there, but I am happy with what we've done. We're back on top in the Prem, we've won the Champions League, the Super Cup and the Community Shield. Again, not the quadruple, but a quadruple being won again, which is really nice to see. And I imagine the money is going to be very, very good. It's going to be 180 million. Now, we have had ridiculous budgets before. The debts and loans are still semi under control. And I look at the team right now, and we've got to be quite sensible because the team on paper is nuts, right? Okay, Costa, Vanderson, Mendes, Botman, Fofana, world-class midfield, world-class front line. We need to really pinpoint where we need these players, and we are now getting into the new gen phase where some ridiculous players are going to come about. But we've got to be sensible because, I mean, we're now at a point where I'd actually argue we need to look at the team and see who's guaranteed to stay, who might be looking to be moved on. So the first option is going to be this guy. He is going to be offloaded. We are then going to promote the goalkeeper we signed from this season to the first team. We give him a season in the under-21s to build up the confidence. Danilo, Fati, Scalvini, they can stay. Jolinton, open to offers. Samu stays, Vivian stays, Miley, I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. It's a Lewis Hall situation all over again. There's a world where we do sell him for the right offer. The same is going to be said for Gordon. Pasho stays, Murphy can be gone, Harvey Barnes can be gone, Longstaff can go, Willett can go, Livramento stays, Kraft and Asala are also up for sale. So, I mean, there's a lot of players that can leave, which then will hopefully make it easier for us to be like, do you know what? So we've lost 2 wingers, we've lost 2 midfielders, we need to bring in some younger options. And at the moment, that's quite hard to look at because we seem to be covered in almost every area. I think the only area you might look at now and say, Josh, maybe someone else is maybe midfield. I mean, you've got, if you take out the fact that we might offload, you know, the likes of Jolinton, Longstaff and Willock, you might get someone else in, but even that's a push. We're going to have to be very careful here. But then we are going to have a bit of a clear out this window, and I can tell you what, we have signed no players. I'm trying to get some money back into the club and really reevaluate where we are as a squad so we can bring in players in the upcoming seasons. We have got obviously a few more years to go. Now, Harvey Barnes is going to leave for 21 million, not a fraction of the price that we paid from Leicester, but I mean, he is slowly playing less and less and less games. Even at the start of the rebuild where we weren't signing wingers, he didn't really impress, so it's time for him to go. And these are the other players we are going to lose, so a few players going on the free, including that backup goalkeeper, a few more players going out on loan, but we have signed absolutely nobody. You can see here, the last signing actually is going to be Ansu Fati, so we are going into Season 7 with no new players and some leaving, so there might be a drop-off, but I do also want to do this to see just how well these batch of players we have brought in can cope with no new faces coming in. It might actually improve them somewhat because they're guaranteed more football. Let's go and see how that played off because it's risky, but Also, it's quite good for the finances. Well, we have not struggled in the Premier League. It's going to be the same dominant season. A 15-point advantage over Man City, so we don't need to obviously sign any players all the time because we've got one incredible team. And I mean, Isaac is still top of the charts. You've got Elise Tonali in the assists. You've got Mendes, Elise Tonali in the average rating, Costa in the clean sheets, and that's actually really nice to see that despite not spending any money, we can still win the Premier League, and not only win it, run away with it. The Champions League is going to be a quarter-final exit. Now, I'm not going to pin this down to not signing players because, once again, we are playing Real Madrid, who seem to be thriving under Ten Hag. Super Cup, we are going to win again, 2-0 over Rennes. A bit of an easier game, but we're going to take it. Community Shield, a 3-2 win over Man City. So again, whenever we're playing these sort of pre-season cups and trophies, whatever you want to say, we're not really losing. Carabao Cup, Liverpool are going to get the one-up in 3-1 fashion. They're a team now managed by Mikel, obviously the Girona manager, I believe, or the previous man. I'm not sure if he's left or stayed. I honestly had a bit of a mind blank right there. They have got a very good team, a bit of a unique team actually. Liverpool fans, let me know what you think in the comments. I think that's pretty 50-50 what people think, but they're a good team regardless. And yeah, that leaves us with one last trophy to talk about, and that is the FA Cup at Wembley against Chelsea. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was an awful start. It's an awful start. A great goal here from João Felix, but after this goal went in, 4 minutes after, they are going to get a red card, and it is going to be a Caicedo red card. We then go from that set piece a few minutes after, Fofana into Pino, and what is the goalkeeper doing? We're going to equalise, and we are now in currently extra time. A very quiet game, but we heat up extra time big time. Vivian getting some game time into Danilo, over the top, into Fati, touchdown, and that is going to be a 2-1 lead inside of the 110th minute. Diamande then plays a ball in, an awful clearance from Colwill, one of the more scrappy goals you're going to see here. Samu back into Diamande, back into Samu, and that is what he can do. The backup striker not doing backup things. We are going to be in the lead, and we are going to wrap up this game 4-1 overall, so 3 goals in extra time, a ridiculous ball in from Diamande. Don't know what the keeper's doing again, and Samu, he's never going to say no. And that completes another quadruple batch of trophies. The Premier League, Super Cup, FA Cup, Community Shield, the things we don't win, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup. So, I mean, to be honest with you, it still is a very, very strong season. I know it's not the quadruple, by the way, but it is a quadruple batch. It's 4 trophies, 4 is a quadruple. So, we are going to take it, as it is going to bring us a lot more trophies into that cabinet. And I tell you what, money-wise, we are sort of getting these budgets back. 235 million. The debts and loans we have still got a little bit there, but you know, we've done our bit. We didn't spend a penny, obviously, this season. You can see we actually generated money. We generated £29 million. So we are selling, not buying, and it's done the world of good for these players. But it now has become a bit easier to see where we need a bit more depth. So in terms of forward players, we have got Pino, Elise, Isaac. I mean, they've all performed very well. We now might go out, or definitely go out and get another winger, because we have not actually got a all-and-out winger as a backup, apart from Ansu Fati. We want to have 2 backup wingers. Isaac and Samu can 100% stay. Midfield, Mazzala, you have got Bellingham. I would then argue you might want to get another one, because I don't really treat Danilo as a Mazzala. Joelinton, I think, probably is going to be going. He is 33 now. Maybe we look to sell him, especially if we can get anywhere near that price tag. The backline, I think, is still really under control. So I reckon we're going to look to bring in a winger and maybe one more midfield player. Q Season 8. Right then, so signing 1 is going to be a backup Mazzala in none other than Jonathan Villegas, coming in from Real Madrid for a total of 42 million, our real first new gen to bring in right now. 24 appearances, 5 goal contributions. For a backup Mazzala, backup midfield player, whatever you wish to say, that is an absolute bargain in my opinion. Also, it's on 83 grand a week, so for a backup, that's very fair. Also made the decision that we are going to wave goodbye to Joelinton eventually, so we're going to prepare for that moment by bringing in João Neves. Now, a little bit bittersweet, because this guy is ridiculous. He is going to be the backup to Tonali in that box-to-box. He only plays 5 appearances, and we spent 100 million, so we almost want to get Joelinton out the door right now, so this guy can play more games, because he is a really good player. And lastly, another left back is going to be Jamie Hall. Coming in, we've got a lot of Halls in this team. Jamie Hall comes in for a grand total of 49 million and only plays one game, but he is now going to be our official backup left back. He is absolutely rock solid at the age of 22, and I'm not being funny, 49 million is a fair bit to pay, but the value is upwards of 90 million now, so it's not bad business. And for a window of 191 million, we've welcomed in a great backup Mazzala, great backup box to box, and a great backup left back. We're building the squad really, really well, but now we're sort of pressured to offload some of these older players. We are going to win the Premier League once again, meaning that is now 3 times back-to-back, 5 times overall, and we could have actually won this 7 times because we are going to be runners-up on 2 occasions, so a very, very, very strong season where we are going to win by a ton of points, Isaac is still going to be he's outscoring everyone by 20 goals. Costa is ridiculous in goal. Tonali and Elise still doing their thing. A great average rating from Isaac, Elise, Bruno and Bellingham. And I'm gonna display it in one click because what we have done here is absolutely incredible. We have gone on to win the Champions League 2-1 over FC Bayern. Again, that is now going to make that 4 times we have won the Champions League. The FA Cup we are also going to win over Leeds 3-1. We've now won that a total of 5 times. The Carabao Cup is the only thing we don't win. Tottenham Hotspur knock us out in the quarterfinals, 1-0 to none. The Community Shield we are going to win 4-2 over Man City. I mean, we've won that 4 times right now. We have won almost everything available to us, and we've now got a team that is capable of doing that time in, time again. Money-wise, we've got a grand total of 121 million. So, for Newcastle, where's the money? A small budget, but of course not a small budget. We don't need that much money, to be honest, now, because we've brought up quite a lot of net debt, so we are going to be a bit more calm with the signings right now. But this team, I mean, yeah, what do you need to say? I mean, the team is firing. The attacking players, I mean, Bellingham, 34 goal contributions. Tonali with easily over 30. Elise is such a good player, 23 and 23. Pino brought in to do what he's doing it great. Isaac is just probably the best striker I've used. Such a good player. You've got Diamande doing great, Neves doing okay, Ansu Fati doing what he needs to do with 5 and 6. You've got the likes of Samu, 8 and 1 doing exactly what he wants to do, and Jolinton, unfortunately we can't sell, but is going to be retiring. So a good serious goodbye to him because he's been a big player for us, but as you can see, less and less games every season, so we are going to wave goodbye to him. Shame we couldn't sell him and get a little bit of money back, but it is what it is. It's not all about the money, as we are going to carry on and go in to the next season, and I don't even know where we're going to sign any players. If we do, it might be another 0 signing window because we've just won another quadruple. Do we even need anyone? Right, well, I wasn't going to sign anyone, but just considering there is a world-class winger on the market who is 24 years of age, we are going to welcome in Yuri, coming in for 83 million. Now, he had a great time in his first season at Inter Milan, and I thought, do you know what? I'm not letting this kid just stay on the market. I'm going to pick him up. 36 appearances, 8 goals, 12 assists. He is literally the complete package. An incredible player, and for that price tag, I will pay it time in, time out. A fantastic addition to the team, who will get in at left wing, by the way, which means Pino drops to the bench with Ansu Fati, this guy and Elise and Isaac. Ridiculous. A few players going out here on the free, and some younger players also being sold. Nothing too crazy to talk about right there, as we only spend 83 million, which is not a lot compared to the past windows. I think we've got a chance of, winning everything once again. Well, now we're going to play Bournemouth. You might think in the FA Cup final. No, the Champions League final. We're going to go 1-0 down to Bournemouth in the Champions League final. I don't know what sort of thing they've cooked up here, but I'm looking at their players and they've got some decent ones. Unfortunately, one of their new additions has not done great there. We are going to be right back into the game with a great goal from Isaac, and we do go on to actually win this game from an Elise 90th minute set piece. Simply lovely. We've got to give full credit to Bournemouth for even getting to this final, okay, because they've now got a team. They've got Pochettino in charge. I actually feel quite bad because he deserves to win something. Going to the team, they've built an absolute powerhouse of a team right now. It's a very strong team, so fair play to them for even making that happen. They finish 8th in the Premier League and get to a Champions League final. apart from the Champions League, we are going to go over and also win the Super Cup 3-2 over Liverpool. We're going to win the FA Cup 4-2 over Arsenal. The Carabao Cup as well, 2-0 over Tottenham. We like to see that. The Community Shield, we are going to lose against Newcastle, and you probably saw it if you're looking at the screen, or you might just be listening to me. We are going to be in 3rd place in the Premier League. Now, I don't know how to feel about this because we've been so dominant in the Premier League to the point where I'm angry that we've not won it, but I also don't expect to win it every single year because eventually you are going to slip up. And the fact that we've done it in a season where at least we have won almost everything else, we've won the Champions League, Super Cup, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, you know, we have won a lot of trophies around it. I'm not going to be too annoyed, but going into the last season, I do want to really try and push to win everything we possibly can. So we are going to try and rectify that issue. Now, in terms of where the issue is, it's quite hard to see because we are actually the best of the best, so we just simply didn't click on some of these days. I mean, it's incredibly close to say. 77 points compared to 82 and 83 is very, very close, so it's not like we're getting battered or anything. What I will say is this man right here has enjoyed a great season. 8-12 obviously in the Premier League, and overall he come in 15-24. You know, Elise also he does great, Bellingham does great, Isaac does great, and we're going into the last window of this rebuild with a total budget of £51 million. Now, we have got to be careful because we're projected to fail the financial fair play, so there might not be any new signings. Well, no, we're not. We're going to carry on because we got past financial fair play, and I'm going to take advantage of it because we are going to do an instalment signing to wrap up the last transfer of this window, coming in and going out. Is going to be 101 million for Jules Doué, coming in at centre-back and right-back. He's a very handy player to have because he's young, he's quick, he's got good tackling, he can play across the entire back line, and for your future, if you are going to carry this on the Patreon, this is a perfect signing for you boys because he can play anywhere across the back line and is one player. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong. Tons of potential as well. And we're going to take him into our last season where I want to go for everything. We are going to be back on top in the Premier League, only losing 2 games. And for the first time in a long time, Isaac is not going to be your top goal scorer. Connor Christie is. With 22 goals, he looks incredible from Nottingham Forest. So fair play to them. Costa, another clean sheet. Bellingham, the most assists. Yuri Shotten, our new player, is going to be the best player in the league overall. And that finalises 10 seasons in the Premier League, but we have won it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times we have won the Premier League. 6 times out of 10 seasons is not half bad. Going over to the Carabao Cup, our final time in the Carabao Cup as Newcastle, we are going to lose in the 3rd round against Liverpool on penalties. Past winners says that we are going to win that 3 times. It is definitely one of the weaker ones we have had. We're going to finalise the last season with a Champions League final, which we do go on to lose, but once again we can't be too angry with that, can we? We have won it 5 times, we've got to the final 6 times, and we've won 5 of the finals, so overall we can't be too annoyed with that one. You then look to the Community Shield, we're going to go into that one, for example, 6-3 win over Man City. We have won that now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as well, and got to 7 finals, so I mean, very, very impressive with that. The Super Cup, I think we did go and look at, you can see there, that game against Chelsea. We then look at the FA Cup, again, a trophy which I think we have done a little bit better in compared to the Carabao Cup. We go to the past winners. Yeah, we have won it a total of, well, we've actually won that 6 times. So a very, very impressive time there. We do lose it in the last season, but I mean, overall, a very good rebuild in my opinion. We go into the club info. The club's reputation is maxed out at 5 stars anyway. The trophies we've added in, we've now got 10 Premier Leagues, 5 Champions Leagues, 12 FA Cups, 5 Super Cups, you know, several things going on. A very, very, very big rebuild done where we've left you with a team which is absolutely stacked. I mean, you even look at the likes of Elise. He's now 31, so he's on the older side, but he's still got a couple of years in him, and he's as good as he's ever going to be. He's still putting up very good stats. Isaac putting up very good stats. You've got a budget of 137 million. Your debts and loans are also pretty much cleared, so I mean, I'm going to be honest, you can spend more money and go again, but the team you've been left with is absolutely sensational, and hopefully you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Once again, comment below a challenge rebuild you want to see. It can be 10 years, it can be 5 years, or it can be Josh, rebuild Tottenham until you win the Champions League. It can be anything you want to see. If you do, it would be appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.